know this gentleman. This is Graeme Tait from the NSW...
Fire and Rescue.
Exactly, Fire and Rescue. Now, we talk about critical communications here, but specifically we're talking about paging.
Yep.
You guys are still investing in paging, is it?
Absolutely.
Still, why is that so interesting? Why is it so interesting to invest in paging solutions or critical alerting solutions?
Yeah, a lot of people find that surprising these days because everyone wants to go cellular, everyone wants to put everything on a smartphone, but we have found with putting everything on the public networks, we can't rely on that for mission critical turnout. So we really need to make sure that our retained firefighters, our part-time firefighters can be alerted very quickly and reliably, and paging still is the only real reliable system that we can put our hand on our heart and know the message is going to get there.
I heard that some agencies are looking for shared alerting infrastructure. Is that what you're looking for as well?
Yeah, obviously within New South Wales there are a number of different agencies that use paging, and it doesn't make sense in this day and age for everyone to have their own infrastructure, their own towers and their own backhaul. So we're looking to combine all of that into a single statewide paging infrastructure, which allows us economies of scale and allows us to use that system for all the different emergency services needs.
If we talk about shared services, what are the most important requirements for you?
Probably number one for us is speed of delivery for that notification. With the fire and rescue service, we've obviously time is critical to get the firefighters alerted and to the fire as quick as possible. So speed of alerting and guarantee of delivery are probably the two major things for us. So it's primarily the Rural Fire Service and State Emergency Service that we've been working with on the requirements for this. We've all looked at what our individual agencies' requirements are, and we're able to work in together to say we all have these same requirements for speed and notification. So to be able to on a shared platform actually works quite well because our businesses are very similar.
Graeme, as you know, the whole critical communications industry is changing. The paging industry is changing as well. Yep. Different technologies are entering into the paging industry as well, 4G. So what are the main advantages for paging for you if we look at the upcoming technologies like 4G?
That's probably the biggest change we've seen in the whole industry is availability of devices now that have that 4G capability, and that's because previously paging we've always sort of referred to it as spray and pray. Yeah. Basically put the message out there and hope someone got it, but now we can get confirmation that the users received the message, and they can even have a manual confirmation to say, hey, I'm going to go to that incident. That's a real game changer for us because it means that we actually have confirmation of who's attending and who's not attending, and we can react quickly if we don't have sufficient crew going to the call.
Would you say that's a revival of paging?
Absolutely.
Well, you might think, what am I doing here on this bench in this park over here, which is a great location in the middle of the city of Melbourne? Well, just at the other side over there, there's CommsConnect 2018 taking place. So going from Graeme to Graeme Hull is responsible for Swissphone for international sales, and yesterday I talked to Graeme from the fire services, yes. Right? New South Wales Fire Services.
That's right.
We talked about multiple end users on one network for paging.
Sure.
Is that a future?
I think we see that globally, and in Australia we see that as a very specific requirement where we have a number of emergency services, and we can subdivide even the fire service into the metropolitan service and then the country fire service, who have slightly different operational requirements, but if you drill down into it, the basic requirement is the same. How do I get an emergency message to a large number of people in the shortest possible time, and ideally get an acknowledgement that they've received that and are responding? So having a large number of organisations using the same network, they get better efficiency out of the network, they get better value for money, and they get consistency of approach across all of their requirements.
Okay, and is Swissphone prepared to go into the future on that part?
Absolutely. I mean, the future really is already here for us. This is very similar to what we do in Europe, and I think being able to bring that concept here to Australia is very exciting for them and very exciting for us as well.
And it's raining again actually, and for the next coming days they expect a lot of rain. Unfortunately, next up, somewhere in Melbourne. How are you, sir?
Cold morning.
You're cold. It's a cold morning, is it?
But the bed.
Does it fit?
And the jacket.
Yeah, I probably need that one in the coming days, right? All right, see you guys. Thank you. All right. So, let's go for a ride. So I'm in the Uber right now with my travel to Unicom. You might have seen, you might know Unicom. It's a company here based in Australia. They are really specialized in paging solutions, and they sell these solutions all over the world. Drive is about 45 minutes. It's, as they say, it's cactus weather here in Australia. It's just before the summer turns up, but it's even still better to be here than in the Netherlands.
The general conversation, you sort of understand, you know, where they go. Quite a bit of industry.
Okay. When I was at CommsConnect the day before yesterday, Oswin told me that he would have a barbecue right now today at 12 o'clock for the lunch. I'm not sure how he wants to do that, but
Don't worry. That's one thing Australians are good at, is barbecue.
they do barbecue in the rain as well.
The rain doesn't matter. Weather will not stop us.
Exactly. Unit 7. So it should be here. Okay, yeah.
Okay, I think
All right.
that's the
Yeah,
lot.
we got it.
No worries.
Okay, thank you so much.
Enjoy your barbecue.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, blah, blah. Next door, so should be this door.
Company pretty much brought the first page.
You changed
We
offices,
changed it,
right?
so we redid all of this to suit their requirements. It's all brand new. If you look next door, you'll go later. Oh. It's a very important system. It's
Over there.
We actually built that from scratch here. That's an alerting system for the hospital on the construction site. The helicopter comes into land. It needs to know that it's got clearance to land because there are cranes working next door. So the helicopter pilot calls into the control tower of the hospital, and the hospital says, hang on, I'm just going to tell the crane drivers to stop. They push a button there, it starts flashing red. It sends a pager message. And why pager? Because the hospital doesn't want a radio. You can't trust the radio all the time. They want a mobile phone because the battery might be flat or there's no coverage or any of that. Pager's the most reliable thing. They wanted a pager in the crane.
Okay.
So crane driver sits there with a very loud message coming up. It also flashes red on the pager for the crane driver. He starts putting his boom down. Now they can't just drop it. They got to safely put it down. Once it's all down, the site manager looks and says, "Oh, yeah, all safe to go." He pushes another button there, which turns all the lights green.
Yes.
Helicopter comes into land, and the reverse happens when the helicopter goes.
That's a unique solution,
This
isn't
is a
it?
unique solution indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed it is.
Yeah.
This is our little lab. We are two guys.
Wow.
Alex and Steve, they-
Lots of stuff. This is where the guys are really happy. Yep. When you're in a room like this is about engineering, definitely, that's for sure. The chicken farm system.
Chicken and quail. It's a quail farm.
Chicken and quail
Our
farm.
parent company is an investor in a farm in Queensland, Brisbane Protein.
Yes.
And one of the things they have is a hatchery with quails in it. And if anything goes wrong in the hatchery where the eggs are, it could cost them a lot of money. So what we have is a system that is hooked to the alarms in the quail hatchery. And if the temperature goes up too high or too low, this notifies the farmer to come in. Because previously he had to come in every 2 hours
To check.
to check. And if something does go wrong, it's thousands of dollars. Anyway, you need to check it regularly. So what we've built here is a paging system combined with a GSM network system.
I already noticed that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but before I do that, I just have to check on the sausages.
Yes, let's check the sausages. Still raining?
Yeah.
It's still raining, right? Ah, cats and dogs. That is just good.
Look at the water.
Well, yeah, the Aussies don't care about rain. You know, they barbecue all the time. Just perfect, Oswin.
Beautiful. Okay.
And that on a Friday afternoon, 12 o'clock.
We are working as well, though.
Yeah, don't get it wrong. The Aussies are working on Friday as well. Seems that they're closing doors at 2 o'clock, but that's definitely not the case.
We've
just developed
We've
it?
just developed it. This is built from scratch right here in this lab.
Feels good to sit here. This is actually the place where all the development is being done, and I think you can see that very well. So basically, you know, this company started in the 80s, specializing paging solutions. And if you see what they're doing right now, they're not only selling here in Australia, they sell around the world. They have even customers in Iceland and on the Bahamas. Now, the guys are having a training right now from Graeme from Swissphone. In about 10 minutes, we're going to have a barbecue. The wine is there. By the way, they don't drink wine during working hours here, of course. You might understand that. But I feel at home. It's a nice location, nice people. That makes business run, right? Many thousands.
Yes, many thousands. What is it, DE500? And I think it was a single line. I can't even remember. I should put a battery in, it should still go with any luck. Yeah, but that was one of the first POXEC pages available in Australia. Again, I can't remember the years, I'm sorry.
Too long time ago.
Yeah, too long ago. Well, that's a Quadrino. That's a bit newer, that one. But we had originally 329s, then 429s, and then we moved into the sort of more current range. That's about what I remember. But yeah, been dribbling out little bits of Swissphone here and there, but the biggest sales we ever had were in the early days with those 228s. Lots of them. Well, the manager then put his company on the line to sell all those. We pretty well, you know, I remember him telling me he had heart palpitations when the first sale went out and it was like $1 million or something or other, and he was thinking, God, what's going to happen? It was coming from the bank, you know, because he'd loaned the money to buy them, to send them to New South Wales.
So as you can see, even the presentation box looks pretty neat, pretty professional. And this was the way Swissphone presented their pages many years ago. Looks nice. So many years of experience, so many years of technology knowledge about paging. And it's not for nothing that Swissphone is right now the leading provider of paging solutions around the world. Great stuff. Before you applied the Swissphone solution into your hospital, you had some challenges. What can you tell me exactly what these challenges were?
Okay. Actually, we are using in our hospital the platform system, and actually the system is very much more like about the senior solution.
All right. So we just had this interview with the Aga Khan Hospital. The sound was not really 100%. In fact, the solution they were very happy about.
You know why?
No.
Because Skype is not using the Swissphone solution. That's why.
Skype, yeah, that's right. Skype is not using the Swissphone solution, but basically it comes down to the fact that they're very happy, specifically with the support, right? Because there's a big distance.
Yeah, big difference and time difference. As you can see, language difference as well.
Yeah.
But it worked really well. So because this is the first IP messaging system in one of their hospitals, and they're very happy with it.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of opportunities.
Okay, please keep me updated on the progress, okay?
I will.